What's up guys, it's Bebe. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk all about electric zoo, baby. And I'm so excited to talk about ezoo. This year has so many cool changes. And for those of you who don't know, ezoo is my home festival. I live in New York City, so that makes it extra special. So today I'm going to be doing a whole first timer guide for this year. If you've never been to ezoo, or if you're returning and want to see if you can learn something new, I'm just going to be sharing all of the tips that I have, some things you should know before you go. And yeah, I'm so excited. This year I will actually be working on the team again instead of attending. So last year I got to work on site all 3 days with the marketing team. It was so cool, literally one of my favorite experiences I've ever had working in the industry. So I'm really grateful that I get to do that again this year. So I will not be going as an attendee, I will be going to work. But if you see me running around at any point in the weekend, please feel free to say hi. It's always great to meet you guys, even if I am working, so do not be shy. And also I am selling tickets to ezoo at a discounted rate, so if you are interested, I can sell you ezoo passes, official passes with the festival ticketing website. Just shoot me a message on Instagram and send me your name and your phone number, and I will set up a personalized link for you, and it will come to you, to your phone number, through an automated text. So if you're interested, hit your girl up, I got you. And I think that's all I have to say for this intro. I also will be doing a lineup review in a separate video, just because that is a whole thing to tackle in itself. But I think this might be my favorite ezoo lineup ever. Debatable, but I think it really is up there as one of my top ones ever. So I'm super excited to dissect that with you guys. That'll be coming in a later video. Give this a thumbs up if you want to see it, and definitely subscribe if you are new here to see that coming soon. I will not be vlogging ezoo just because I will be working, so I want to focus on that. But I will have lots of content coming on, like my Instagram stories. I'll probably post some stuff on TikTok, and of course Twitter too. So all my socials are always down below if you want to give me a follow. So the first thing I want to cover is weather, because the weather can be a little bit unpredictable for ezoo. The Northeast can be a little hot and cold during this time of year, so oftentimes at ezoo the days are still pretty hot, so you want to prepare for that. But there's also been days at ezoo where, because of like the clouds, and it just does get a little cooler sometimes, where it can get a little chilly at night. Definitely check the weather leading up to the event. I wouldn't finalize like anything you're wearing until the week of, just because the weather can flip-flop so often here. We've been in a pretty bad heat wave in New York City, so I'm hoping that subsides by Labor Day weekend, because been pretty rough. It's been like 95 to 100 degrees most days, and it's really humid and just like sticky and gross. And it's also still kind of thunderstorm. It is still thunderstorm season right now. By Labor Day weekend there tends to still be some going on, so pack a rain poncho. Just be prepared for rain. It's rained many days at ezoo in the past. Last year the weather was beautiful, although it was a bit hot on some days. But yeah, just keep an eye on the weather and just assume that it's gonna change. Next thing I want to talk about is transportation, because the options for getting to ezoo are pretty overwhelming. And there actually is a great page on the website for this to kind of see all of the options laid out. So I will link that down below as well, and also maybe show a screen recording here. But you have the subway, you have ride shares, you have the ferry, you have the bus, the shuttle. There's so much. So the ferry is a good option just because it's reliable, and you pay one price for the whole weekend, and it goes to and from East 35th Street in Manhattan. But it's definitely more expensive, so if you don't want to do that, I always thought like going to ezoo, I think the easiest option is you can Uber on to Randall's Island in the beginning of the day. You just can't Uber off the island at the end of the night. The all the rideshare apps make Randall's Island into a blackout zone, so you cannot call a car at the end of the night. But you can call one to go there in the beginning of the day. So I always think that it's easiest to take a ride share onto the island in the beginning of the day, and then at the end of the night either take the bus off of Randall's Island, or walk the bridge depending on where you're going. Do not walk the wrong bridge. So there's 3 bridges to Randall's Island. There's one to the Bronx, there's one to Manhattan, and there's one to Queens. Make sure you are walking on the correct one. When you leave the festival grounds, there will be lots of staff. They can help direct you. Just make sure you don't walk the wrong way, because then you're going to be in even more trouble. And then once you walk off the bridge, either take an Uber, take the subway, take the MTA bus. Just a little life hack, if you guys are not familiar with New York City, the subway and the bus system is $2.75 to get anywhere, and nowadays you actually don't even have to buy a Metro card anymore. If you have a contactless credit card or debit card, you can just tap it when you walk into the turnstiles or onto the bus. They have a system for it, so you don't even have to buy a Metro card. So I think that's super easy. Or you can just, once you walk the bridge, take an Uber back to wherever you're going. And like I said, they also have the Brooklyn shuttles, so they pick, the shuttle stop is in Williamsburg. I can put up the map here, and you can buy tickets to this on the ezoo website, and it just is a 3-day or single-day pass, whatever, to and from that Brooklyn stop. So they have that option as well. That's also really helpful if you guys are going to after parties at Mirage or anywhere in Brooklyn, because then from there you can just take the subway or an Uber, etc, etc. You get the vibe. You also cannot park on Randall's Island, so if you are driving to ezoo, be prepared to find parking near whichever bridge it is that you're gonna walk to get over there. So lots of transportation options. Like I said, the website has a great page for this to see it all laid out a bit better, and also which trains subway wise you're gonna want to take, or which bus goes onto Randall's Island. So just go look at that if you're still considering what to do. But like I said, my advice would be to take a rideshare app onto the island at the beginning of the day, and then when the festival ends, either take the bus off Randall's Island or walk the bridge off Randall's Island, and then use whatever mode of transportation to get back to your hotel, Airbnb, whatever. Let's talk about the crowd at ezoo. So my biggest thing with the ezoo crowd is don't expect like the overly lovey-dovey plur type vibe, because that's just not the New York scene in general. I've had comments from people who like fly into ezoo say two things. They say, first of all, they thought ezoo was going to be way bigger geographically, and second of all, they thought that the crowd was not as nice as other festivals. And I don't know what to tell you, girl. It's just New York. The scene is a little different here. We're not like, it's not like an EDC is the best way I can put it. There's still a lot of great energy. People are super nice. I've made friends at ezoo in the past. Like, people, it is also kind of what you make of it. Like, if you don't like where you are in the crowd, you're not digging the vibe, then just move. But just know, like, you're gonna see at least some Brads and Chads, because you draw in like the kids from Jersey and Long Island, so you're gonna have to deal with that a little bit. I don't know, the one thing I have to say about the crowd is just don't expect like an EDC type vibe, but that's because you're in New York, and people in New York are not like that. Like, for lack of a better phrase, like, they just, that's not how we are. Don't take it personally. We're not mean, we're just straight up. Like, we're not gonna be like, oh my god, like, plur, like, pay some respect. Like, that's not New York. It's not. All right, let's talk about vendors, lines, prices, all that good stuff. So ezoo is cashless, and one of my biggest tips for ezoo is to top up your wristband before the event. Last year, the system was down at one point on the first day, and nobody could top up their wristbands, and it was a whole mess. So just make sure you have some money on it before you even get there. But yeah, there's no cash, no credit cards, so it's all on your wristband. The same goes for like shows at Brooklyn Mirage and Avant Gardner. Like, you load up your, they give you a wristband when you get in, and you attach or link your credit card or debit card to that, and that's how you pay at the bars. So you never have to deal with like cards and bar tabs or anything like that. It's great in theory, just make sure you put money on your wristband before you get there. Water lines, this used to be a huge issue for ezoo, so I wanted to touch on this because it's been a big problem in the past with people waiting like almost an hour for water. This year there are more water stations, so hopefully that will not be an issue. So I wanted to throw that information in there because a lot of people have been asking me. They also have sponsored alcohol sections where you can have like cocktails with that alcohol brand. They will give you an extra wristband for that to say that you're 21 and over. Everything in general is very expensive and that's just because it's A, a festival, and B, it's New York City, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world. So just be prepared for that. As far as like food and drink goes, for food, please eat the food at ezoo. It has some of the best food out of any festival I've ever been to. Maybe I'm biased because I live in New York and a lot of it is like local, but please eat at least one thing every day at ezoo. Big Mott's is like the staple, but there's so many like local New York food trucks. That food is so good. You have to try some. Let's talk security. This is a big topic around ezoo because a lot of people talk about how tough the security is, and this is very true. It is the toughest security I've ever seen at a festival, not just when you are getting in at the beginning, but when you are also in the grounds. I've watched people get arrested in the crowds. I've seen many undercovers. Even something like one time I watched security yell at someone because they passed their drink off to someone who didn't have a 21+ wristband. Like, it's that strict. You will get caught. So just know that. When I went as an attendee last time, I had a really easy time in line. Like, they didn't check my stuff, but I was watching like a bunch of people get pulled to the side. They have like a separate section where if you look any type of sus, or even if you don't and they're just picking people randomly, because they do that, you will get like searched extra on that side. So it's very intense. New York is a major metropolitan area, so they do not play games with safety at ezoo for a good reason. So just know that. Be respectful as you're going in. Just know that security is just trying to keep everyone safe. They're just doing their job. Production and layout. So despite being in a major city, and I mentioned this earlier, a lot of people who fly in for ezoo are a bit surprised that it's a lot smaller geographically than they thought. So there's only 4 stages at ezoo. You have main stage, and then you have Riverside, then you have Hilltop Arena, and then this year is the Grove, which has 2 takeovers, Brownies and Lemonade and Sunday School. So Brownies and Lemonade is the more bass type artist, and then Sunday School is going to be all house. The stages are very close together, so if you're looking to catch multiple artists, you can do it so easily. It's a very walkable festival. Everything is close together. So if you are a set conflicts type of girly, don't you worry, it's not that far of a hike. The layout is dope though. Like, if there's a hill when you first walk in, and if you sit on it, you can see the skyline of New York. It's super, super cool. ezoo is just like it's such a cool atmosphere because it's in New York and you can see the skyline, and it's just really, really cool and unique. So the stages are awesome. Last year they had all open air stages, so that was super cool. Before that, it used to be somewhere like intense. So yeah, but this year is a whole new theme for ezoo, a whole new vibe, so stay tuned to see what the stages are going to look like this year. Last but not least, I want to touch on after parties because this is a huge part of Electric Zoo and one of the other major draws of the festival. The after party lineup is always top notch, and there is always several every single night because we have so many amazing venues around the city and we're able to do that. If you have never been to New York, please do at least one after party at the Brooklyn Mirage or Avant Gardner. When you see the after party lineup, Kings Hall and Great Hall and Brooklyn Mirage are all part of the same venue. It's called Avant Gardner. So Kings Hall is the smaller indoor part of it, Great Hall is the bigger indoor part of it, and then Brooklyn Mirage is the outdoor part of it, which is in between those 2 indoor parts. Kind of hard to visualize if you've never been there, but yeah, it's all the same building in Brooklyn. If you're going to do after parties, highly recommend those venues over the others, but they also usually have parties at Marquee, Quantum, and Webster Hall. So Marquee is like more of a club, like a posh club. It's personally not really for me. It tends to get really packed. It's more of like a basic crowd, like more Chad Brad type energy. I'm not a huge fan of it. Quantum is a very small and intimate club further down in Brooklyn. If one of your favorite artists is playing there, do not miss it, because Quantum is just such an intimate space and it's really cool to see artists that you love there. Webster Hall is also a small venue that's in Manhattan actually. Usually it's bass artists that play there during the year, so that's a popular venue for bass acts. But yeah, that one's in Manhattan. I actually used to live very close by to Webster Hall, and I miss being able to walk to Webster for shows. But I like Webster, so I would recommend any of the after parties. Please go to at least one. The lineup is always insane. That is all of the basics for Electric Zoo, you guys. If you have any more questions at all, please feel free to I can't speak English. Please feel free to drop them down below, and I'm happy to answer any. And like I said, if you guys want to buy passes, just shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'm happy to set you up with a link to buy. I cannot wait for this year's ezoo. It's a new theme, so many changes, and I'm just like I said, I'm super grateful to be working it again this year. It's just so much fun, and it's, again, my home festival, so like everyone goes. I get to see everyone I love, and the lineup this year is stacked. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it was helpful. Lineup review coming soon as well, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.